We have here a presentation of the highest degree.
Oh, shit, buddy. I gotta dig a little deeper.
We have taken the last couple of weeks to go through not just conspiracy theories that we've all heard of, not like the magic bullet, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. We have decided to find conspiracy theories that realistically no one should be able to believe, and yet some do. And what we have done, we have collected them all up into a presentation, and then we are going to rank them, and we have a ranking system. So we have ranging from I almost want to believe to dumb as hell to annoyingly stupid to I hate this and I hate the world, and the top level of stupidity is Elon Musk believes in this. Now the first one is just to get us started, and I think that it's one that most of you will probably have heard of, and it is that Avril Lavigne is dead. No. Now, this one has been pissing me off for years, because I don't think that there is enough of anything to make this feel as though it should have a conspiracy theory. The concept is that Avril Lavigne died. From what I can tell, there was an Avril lookalike, right, who was called Melissa Vandella, who was hired to distract the paparazzi and protect her, and then she became more reclusive, and then Avril Lavigne died. How did Avril Lavigne die? How did nobody notice? Where did Melissa go? Did anybody notice that Melissa went missing? Did Melissa's family not go, oh damn, where's Melissa at? The evidence is literally this picture where Avril Lavigne has the word Melissa written on her hand, and apparently she looked slightly different after 2003? Or is Melissa a clone? I mean, this is the thing about clone-related conspiracy theories, is that there are no clones, right? We haven't got clones that have successfully survived anything. Like, the closest we got was Dolly the sheep. So the idea that, like, there are, like, multiple celebrity clones, but, like, no other evidence that clones are a thing, it just doesn't make sense to me. What's the benefit to Avril Lavigne? Who even cares this much about Avril Lavigne? The Avril Lavigne one goes in annoyingly stupid. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to think about it. Why are we also obsessed with Avril Lavigne? That's my take on the first one. Up next, birds are not real. Now, this is a personal favorite of mine. So COVID was genetically engineered to make everyone stay in their houses so the US government could replace all birds with bird drones so they can spy on citizens. Yeah, in 2021, some supporters demonstrated in front of Twitter's San Francisco headquarters, demanding the company change its bird logo. In 2021, MSNBC said the movement had hundreds of thousands of members. I actually like this to an extent because it really hammers home that sometimes conspiracy theories are based on real fears. People are aware they're being spied on nonstop. We're supposed to be wearing, like the clothes that are like shiny to help blur you out of cameras, and we're being recorded everywhere. Like, the concept is I am annoyed that I'm being watched and surveilled all the time, which you are. And the most reasonable way of expressing that fear is by saying pigeons are fake. I love Birds Aren't Real. I think it's very entertaining. Obviously fake. Like, so provably fake, it's not even funny.
Thank you!
So I'm going to say, I like pigeons. I feel bad that we did them dirty. I'm going to put this... Where's my pigeon? I'm going to put this in I Almost Want to Believe. I think it's funny. This I love. Stevie Wonder can see.
I just called to say I can see a dickwad.
When Stevie Wonder was born 6 weeks premature in 1950, doctors didn't yet know that the highly oxygenated environment of newborn incubators could damage the human eye. Wonder suffered the consequences and would go throughout the rest of his life blind. Over the years, skeptics have poked holes in the story. Sports writer Bomani Jones, a noted Stevie truther, points to the visual imagery of his songs, his preference for sitting courtside at NBA games, and his reputation as a childhood prankster. The late NBA star Daryl Dawkins, whose nickname Chocolate Thunder came from Wonder, had claimed the music legend can see. Then there's the visual evidence, which includes a picture of Wonder taking a photo of a Michael Jackson wax statue. Do I think Stevie Wonder can see? No. Have I seen more than one case of people really, like, legitimately claiming Stevie Wonder can see? Yes. This video is titled, "Is Stevie Wonder Really Blind? Hell no." I think that's not fair. So fucking Paul McCartney's big head comes bowling through, right? He tries to duck down, he fails, he clumps it. Stevie, he's gonna hear that. Look, he does not, look at his hand. His hand is empty. It is not his hand. It fell into the crook of his arm. He put his arm out to see if he could catch it, right? The fact of the matter is, he heard the donk. All right, I heard the donk. He knew Paul was zooming on by. I personally don't think that there is any sense. I think people are being ableist as hell. I do like the entertaining factor. I do think it's great. I think this is a bad one. I think we should be giving Stevie props. All right. Oh, why is he sitting at the front of the NBA thing? Because he's rich and he fucking can and he wants to show off. So I'm putting Stevie Wonder's blind, although I do want to believe it. Like, there's a bit of me that wants it here. We're going to go bang in between. It's not Elon Musk, but it is. I hate this. Up next, Lindsay Lohan has a twin that died.
Why I oughta.
Lindsay Lohan actually had a twin sister who played the twin in The Parent Trap. But between filming and release, the twin died in a car accident. So they marketed the film to make you think Lohan played both roles. There is literally no physical evidence that this ever happened, yet a lot of people believe it. Here's why people believe it. Because Lindsay Lohan was a very talented actor and really killed it in that movie. And it is hard to believe that one young girl could carry both those roles and play them so well. But update, she did. Like, how many times when you're watching Friends did you see Phoebe interacting with her sister and it's just someone in a wig? Sometimes you just got to accept that people are more talented than you. I don't know how old Lindsay Lohan was when she did Parent Trap, right? And yes, most of us, age 9 or whatever age she was, would not have been able to pull off that role. But she's good, all right? She's just good. I think this is just dumb as hell. It's not harmful, like Stevie, it's ableist. What is our next conspiracy? The moon landing was faked.
I can't believe you've done this.
Flat Earthers are back again. Brilliant. In 1980, the Flat Earth Society accused NASA of faking the landings, arguing they were staged by Hollywood with Walt Disney sponsorship and directed by Stanley Kubrick. I've seen the Stanley Kubrick accusations. Why does Stanley need to be involved? Everyone watched The Shining and went, give this man the moon landing.
Here's Johnny.
Motivation for the United States to engage the Soviet Union in a space race can be traced back to traced to the Cold War. Landing on the moon was viewed as a national and technological accomplishment that would generate worldwide acclaim. Did I study American history at university? Yes. So is this kind of a special interest? Yes. I think the space race is really interesting. It would be extremely, extremely expensive. 2, they did not have the technology to do low gravity. It would not be a thing that they could convincingly do. 3, the reason that we all talk about walking on the moon and none of the other things is because all the other things were done by the Soviet Union. The first satellites were Soviet. The first guys in space was Soviet. The first dog in space was Soviet. The only thing America managed to actually pull off was the moon. Landing on it and walking on it. Don't get me wrong. I love a walk on the moon. I think that's one of the coolest things that we have ever done. But at the end of the day, we're only going on about it because we flopped everything else. This is dumb. And one of my favorite things that ever came out of this accusation of the moon landing being faked, it's the fact that at some point, a man came up to Buzz Aldrin and started shouting at him and saying, you lied about going on the moon. You faked it. And you know what Buzz Aldrin did? Blam. He punched that man in the face. And not only is that great, but there's also video footage of it.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Where am I going to put the moon landing was faked? Is this in I hate this and I hate the world, or is this Elon Musk believes this shit? Because Elon Musk would love to be like, actually, no one's been on the moon. I'm the only one and I'm going to go on the moon now. Now, this is insane. Katy Perry is JonBenét Ramsey. JonBenét Ramsey was an American child beauty queen who was killed aged 6 in her family home in Boulder, Colorado on the night of December 25th, 1996. Her body was found in the house's basement about 7 hours after she had been reported missing. This bizarre idea that Katy Perry is JonBenét Ramsey was birthed in a YouTube video from a guy named Dave Johnson. Couldn't be a more NPC ass name anyway.
Then I took an arrow in the knee.
He says Ramsey's parents sacrificed the young beauty queen so that she could become famous later in life. He also blends pictures of a young Ramsey into pictures of grown-up Katy Perry, arguing their features line up perfectly when they clearly don't. They don't look that similar. Like, they do in that they're both very pretty and white, but they don't in the sense of, like, look at Katy Perry's eyes and look at JonBenét Ramsey's eyes. Like, they're completely different. Also, how would having your child pretend killed and then hidden away at age what? Like, I don't even know, 6? Yeah, age 6. She's my age. What's the benefit? Oh, I faked your murder. Who did they bury then? So let me look at the scale and we can decide where we want to put JonBenét Ramsey is actually Katy Perry. I think I hate this and I hate the world for JonBenét. Up next, Elvis is not dead.
Elvis isn't dead.
Now, I want to say one thing about Elvis not being dead, but I do want to say he would be dead by now. I don't know how old Elvis would be at this point. Because he died in his 40s. So he was born in 1935, so he'd be 89. So it is possible. Okay, I'm going to take that back. It's possible that at age 89, Elvis would still be alive. So the theory in this case goes, Elvis was the FBI's key witness in a case against Elvis's inner circle for the exploitation he was victim to. The fraternity had swindled the king and his father out of $400,000. And they wanted him dead for working with the feds. So the FBI killed Elvis to protect him. Proof of this story is supposedly contained in a 663-page FBI file on Elvis, which includes correspondence from the king on dates after his death. So that body in the casket, wax, which was melting as people filed by at his funeral. Dead men don't sweat.
There's a slight problem with the sweating.
I don't know anything about him sweating at his funeral, but what I can tell you is, if you looked sweaty, would it not be, right? So he's from the South, correct? When you die, what do? They put you in a freezer. What if he was cold? What if it was just condensation? The earliest known alleged sighting of Elvis post-death was the day after he died. Now that is fast. August the 17th, 1977, at Memphis International Airport, a man resembling Elvis gave the name John Burroughs, which was the same name Elvis used when booking hotels. At that time, one could board a flight without ID using only their plane ticket. How do we feel about this? Because do I think Elvis didn't die? No. I think he did die. Because why else? Right? The issue that I have, right, is if you're a man resembling Elvis, are you not just a man who said, he looks good, I'm going to try and pull that look off? Were there already Elvis lookalikes by the time? Because nowadays, if you went to Memphis and you saw someone who looked like Elvis, you go, yeah, that's going to be an Elvis lookalike. There's probably bazillions of them in Memphis. Let's say Elvis was killed to cover for the fact that he was in a case against his inner circle for exploiting him. Where did that case go? Imagine you fake your whole death and then they go, don't really have the stuff for it. Enjoy your life in Mexico. I feel like it's just dumb. Is it annoying? I mean, it's a little bit annoying because, like, can you please stop writing books and just let the man be dead?
Elvis has left the building.
Right, what's next? The Titanic didn't sink. Girl, then who am I looking at? The Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, was actually the boat that sank. The motives used to support these unfounded claims vary. For example, some say the supposed switch occurred as part of an insurance fraud scheme. Others posit the tragedy was intended to kill 3 powerful businessmen who were allegedly opposed to the creation of a central banking system in the US, now known as the Federal Reserve. Couldn't you just put those 3 men on the Titanic and then sunk the Titanic? Also, what did you do? Tell them to drive directly into an iceberg? So another boat that's exactly like the Titanic sank. But they said it was the Titanic because money? This whole thing seems very sketchy-wetchy. I'm going to put it in... Is it dumb as hell or is it annoyingly stupid? It's dumb. You know what I mean? You're just being dumb. Next. Now this. This is one I care about. Lea Michele can't read. Here's the situation. If you're like, who the hell's Lea Michele? Don't panic. She was the lead character in Glee. There is a conspiracy theory that she cannot read, and I love it. There was a memoir by Naya Rivera, one of the characters from Glee. She wrote a memoir called Sorry Not Sorry, Dreams, Mistakes, and Growing Up, which claimed that Michele refused to improvise on the set of Glee, right? A joke that Michele perhaps had to memorize her lines because she couldn't read them led to a 40-minute deep dive looking for evidence of Lea Michele's literacy. So, like, these guys who are doing a show joke about, like, oh, I bet she can't read, and that's why she wouldn't improvise. She had to go by the book because she had to memorize her lines before she gets on set. You can't change anything, right? Because you can't read the changes. Because they couldn't find any specific evidence of her being literate, people then went, well, maybe she can't read because she was famous from when she was a child. She was famous on Broadway with Jonathan Groff when she was literally a kid. So maybe she never learned. Maybe she didn't get to do enough school and she doesn't know how to read. People did legitimately go crazy. The most famous one was her presenting an award and she's like, I'm seeing. And then they read the name out and then she repeats it.
And the Emmy goes to...
Don Roy King.
There's a conspiracy theory that whenever a tweet of hers has, like, not a tweet, a Instagram post of hers has words, it's done by her management. And whenever a tweet or like an Instagram post just has a picture and an emoji, then it's her. And I'm kind of obsessed with that because, like, it's feasible. A surprising amount of Americans can't read. Literacy is actually way down. She was a child star, and also, she's kind of a dumb racist bitch. This is my second one that is entering I almost want to believe. Are we ready for our next conspiracy theory? We've only got a couple left, but these ones are great. I love this one. Paul McCartney is dead.
To live and let die.
And you say, no, Emily. Of the 4 Beatles, 2 of them are still alive and one of them is Paul McCartney. And I say, no, that's not Paul McCartney. That's a different man, apparently. The Paul McCartney is dead conspiracy suggests that Paul died in 1966 and was replaced with a look-alike slash sound-alike slash write-alike because the Beatles were too famous to shut down. But meanwhile, they drop hints in future songs to let real fans know that something is not right. Aside from it being ridiculous on its face, I will also point out that all the stuff that Paul McCartney has done since 1966 means that if he was replaced by a doppelganger, the doppelganger is now much more accomplished than Paul ever was, which is what I was going to say. Paul McCartney has been famous since the early 60s, right? But most of the Beatles' most famous songs came in later albums. So, like, how much of the Beatles' really influential work was Paul McCartney alive for?
How dare you ask me that?
And, like, the conspiracy was, like, on the Abbey Road album, you know, when they're crossing the road at the zebra crossing? Like, Paul's not wearing shoes, which means he's dead. I don't like Paul McCartney being dead because half the Beatles are already dead. Yeah, I think it goes up there with Melissa. It's essentially the same conspiracy theory. Next, the moon is a hologram. The moon is a hologram because the real moon was blown up by nukes, possibly by Nazis. And we would apparently just all go insane if we looked up at the sky and we didn't see a moon, so they had to fake one. There's also another theory that the moon has been engineered by NASA to cover what's behind it, something called the celestial vault. First of all, if the moon was blown up by Nazis didn't exist, you know, in a power position for that long. So it gives us quite a small window. My grandma never mentioned the day the moon blew up and then the next day it was back completely normal. And all my relatives were hella old. Do I believe in the celestial vault? Of course I do. This is the first I've heard of it, but fuck it. I'm in. let's say there is a celestial vault and it's physical and you can see it from Earth with the naked eye and it's massive.
Nice.
How did NASA invent the moon when we've got pictures from way before that of the moon? Like, this is what annoys me. If you're going to have an insane conspiracy theory, you need to have some basics covered. Explain everyone drawing the moon. Explain it. I want to actively boo this. I hate this and I hate the world. Yeah. I hate this and I hate the world. This is the greatest conspiracy theory you have never heard of. The Chinese Mountain Army.
What?
China used to have a one-child policy. In that era, where families were only allowed to have one child, there was a tragic situation of infanticide, where parents who wanted to have boys, so they could pass on the family name and all of that kind of stuff. Essentially, there were a lot of girls who statistically should have been born who didn't exist. More boys were born than should have been and fewer girls. Now, what if we took the idea of the one-child policy in China and we said those girls, they didn't die, they weren't terminated.
You are terminated.
They were collected by the Chinese government, taken into a mountain and trained as super soldiers. There was never any mass killings of baby girls. They were all sent to underground facilities in mountains where they would spend their whole lives being trained in combat and espionage. So when China attacks the mainland US, they're going to unleash a horde of Chinese mole women super soldiers.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
You know how, like, we talk about our phones? They've got a lot of blue light. Blue light isn't good for you. It messes up your sleep, okay? China adds the blue light to electronics. It's not that blue light is just part of the spectrum. No, China specifically adds it, and then they ship those electronics around the world. And they do that to cripple the military might of other countries by wreaking havoc on their sleep cycles. China doesn't give its lady soldiers any electronics with blue light. They do still get electronics though. All right, so no sun, no going outside, but they do still have phones, just like with a little orange tint. This person asked why China only wanted women super soldiers. They said, and this is very interesting, that it was because the final stage of their plan for world domination was forced repopulation. So, big war, tanks the US population. They bring in the female Chinese super soldier mole woman blue light averse army. They bang the remaining American men.
It'll make you bounce up and down a little bit more.
Meaning that now America is populated by a lot of half Chinese people. So there are more Chinese genes in America. China could control the US just by having lots of Chinese citizens. What I can take from this is brilliant, stunning, completely correct, no notes. Now, the only question I have is, how long was the one-child rules in place? I'm worried a lot of the Chinese mountain mole women super soldiers might be hitting menopause. You are sending these women out to bang these dudes and they're just not having babies at the rate that you need, right? Because like 89, 99, 2009. So the elders of that age group are coming up on 40, might be getting a little old, but all the younger ones. So you know what? I take that back. They are prime baby having age. It could happen any minute. So watch out, America.
Bye-bye.
I personally think this one is both the most ridiculous and ties into our genuine fears the most. America scared of China? Yeah. People scared of women, foreign women coming in, having babies. Nothing worse. Technology secretly doing things to your brains? Yes. I would personally put this one. Wait, this isn't a mole woman? Who's this? Have I got them wrong? One moment. I am putting the Chinese mountain warriors, the mole ladies of Chinese supremacy. I am putting them in Elon Musk believes this shit, because anything Musk can do to chat shit about China, he's gonna do. I loved our conspiracy theories.
You in post?
If we find more insane conspiracy theories, do send them to me, because maybe I can do this again in the future. You know, there's always more madness going on.